In this video, we will be graphing radical functions using transformations. First, we need to graph their parent functions. So we're going to graph the function y equals the square root of x, or f of x equals the square root of x, by making a table. I'm going to pick some x values to plug into that function, and I can only put positive values of x into a square root, or I can put in 0. So I'll start with 0. That's the smallest number I'm allowed to plug into that function. The square root of 0 is 0. The next number I'm going to plug in is 1. The square root of 1 is 1. Now, if I were to plug in 2, the square root of 2 cannot be simplified because 2 is not a perfect square. So I'm going to pick something that comes out a little nicer. I'm going to pick my next perfect square, which is 4. The square root of 4 is 2. And my next perfect square is 9. The square root of 9 is 3. And the next perfect square is 16. The square root of 16 is 4. Now, since I'm using a 10 by 10 graph, I'm just going to plot these first 4 points. So I'm going to plot the point 0, 0, 1, 1, 4, 2, and 9, 3. And the graph looks like this. And it increases without bound as you go to the right, and it's not defined for negative values of x. So the graph is not on the left side of my grid at all. The domain of this function, since it's only 0 and positive values of x, we say that x is greater than or equal to 0. And the range is also going to only be positive values of y. So the lowest y value is 0, and then it goes up forever. So y is also greater than or equal to 0 would be the range. And that's our parent function for f of x equals the square root of x. Now we're going to graph the parent function for f of x equals the cube root of x. And I want to put perfect cubes into this function to make my table. And I am allowed to put negative values of x in. So I'm going to put 0 in the middle of my table, and the positive values of x that I'm going to use, well, the cube root of 0, first of all, is 0. The cube root of 1 is 1, so I get the point 1, 1. My next perfect cube is 8. The cube root of 8 is 2. But I can also use negative versions of these numbers. The cube root of negative 1 is negative 1, and the cube root of negative 8 is negative 2. So these are the points I'm going to use to graph my function. I'll start in the middle at 0, 0 and do my positive values, 1, 1, and then right 8 up 2. And so the positive half of the graph kind of looks like our square root function, but increases a little slower. And then on the left-hand side of the graph, we've got the point negative 1, and negative 8, negative 2. So this graph does go in both directions. Its domain is all real numbers, and its range is also all real numbers, because it goes to the left and to the right forever, and it also increases as you go to the right, and it decreases as you go to the left. So the range is also all real numbers. Now we need to know these two parent functions really well in order to graph using transformations. Here's a summary of our transformation rules. If we have a negative out front, that's a reflection about the x-axis. So remember, our parent function for f of x equals the square root of x looks essentially like this. If I throw a negative out front, it flips over the x-axis, or it's a vertical reflection, and it would look like that. Another type of reflection that I will mention is a reflection in the y-axis. And that will happen if the negative is inside the radical. It will be a horizontal reflection. And so we would take our parent function and flip it over the y-axis, which would look like that. And just like with our other functions, if there's a number out front, that's a vertical stretch or shrink, depending on the value of a. If a is greater than 1, it'll be a stretch. If a is between 0 and 1, it will shrink or compress. And then our translation rules are the same. A number added or subtracted on the inside is a horizontal translation. And remember, that's opposite land. So if a number is subtracted, we move to the right. If a number is added on the inside, we move to the left. And then the vertical shift or translation is the k value on the outside, and that's normal. Adding a number on the outside shifts up, subtracting a number on the outside shifts down. Okay, let's look at some examples. So first, we should graph our parent function before we graph the transformed function, or at least know what that looks like. So the parent function, I'm going to start with that, has the points 0, 0, 1, 1, 4, 2, and 9, 3. So this is just y equals the square root of x. Now to reflect that, well, this negative out front is a reflection over the x-axis. So it's going to flip upside down and go, the point at 0, 0 stays the same, but then I would go right 1, down 1, right 4, down 2, right 9, down 3. And that would be y equals negative square root of x. Now, a negative on the inside is a reflection over the y-axis, a horizontal reflection. So when I graph that, I'm still going to start at 0, 0. That point doesn't move, but I'm going to go to the left 1, up 1, left 4, up 2, left 9, up 3, and it would look like that. This next one is reflecting over the x-axis. And we are shifting. We have a horizontal translation. Remember that +2 is opposite land. It's going to go left 2, and then the -1 is going to take it down 1. So if you start with your parent function, I'm going to start by graphing that again. Here are the dots for our parent function. First, we're going to do a reflection, because the reflections and stretches should always happen first, the multiplying operation. So I'm just going to reflect it over the x-axis real quick, which gives me this graph. And then I'm going to take all of those points, left 2 and down 1. So I go, if I take the point which starts at 0, 0, and I go left 2, down 1, that point lands here. My next point, left 2, down 1, would be here, and I can go point by point and move each one left 2, down 1, and I would get this graph. Some more examples of square root functions. In number 7, we have a vertical stretch by a factor of 2. So I'm going to start with my parent function again, which looks like that, and I'm going to double how high my points go. So the y values get doubled when we do a vertical stretch. I'm still starting at 0, 0, but my next point, instead of going up 1, it goes up 2. My next point, instead of going up 2, it goes up 4. And my last point, instead of going up 3, I double that and it goes up 6. And so the height of each point doubles. In number 8, we have a reflection about the x-axis. We have a vertical stretch by a factor of 3. We also are shifting up 4. I'm going to handle my stretch and my reflection at the same time. I do those first. So first I'll just start with my parent function as my beginning. And then I'm flipping it over the x-axis and tripling the y value. So I still start at 0, 0, and let me do my green color. Okay, I start at 0, 0, and then I go right 1, down 3. So I tripled how far I went, and I went down instead of up. My next point, which was right 4, up 2, I triple that 2 and make it a 6, and I go down 6. And then for my next point, right 9, up 3, I triple that 3 and get 9, and I go down 9. And so that would be handling the reflection and the stretch at the same time. And now I'm going to take all those green dots and move them up 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. There's my first point. My next point, I'm just going point by point and moving each one up 4 units. And that will be my final graph. In number 9, we have a vertical compression by half, or we could call it a shrink. So the y coordinates are going to get half as tall. And we also have a horizontal reflection because we have a negative inside, which is about the y-axis. I'll start with the parent function again real quickly. And I'm going to do these one at a time, and it doesn't matter which order I do them. Maybe I'll reflect it over the y-axis first. So the 0, 0 point stays where it is, and I flip it over the y-axis. And then my vertical shrink by 1/2, all the points are going to be half as tall. So the 0, 0 point stays where it is. Instead of going up 1, that would be up 1/2. Instead of up 2, up 1. And instead of up 3, up 1.5. And so the graph is half as tall. And in these last few examples, we're graphing cube roots. So we need to remember our cube root parent function, which starts at, I like to start at 0, 0 as my initial point. And then I go right 1, up 1, right 8, up 2, because the cube root of 8 is 2. And then I also have left 1, down 1, and left 8, down 2. So those are the points on my parent function. And in this one, we are reflecting it over the x-axis, and we're going up 2. So first I'm going to reflect it over the x-axis. The 0, 0 point stays, and I flip these points on the right down below, and the ones on the left flip up above. So that's the reflection over the x-axis, and then I'm going to take all those points up 2. So each point goes 2 higher, and then I connect them. I'm missing one, this one. And it looks like this. Now in number 11, again, I'll do my parent function. We have a vertical stretch by a factor of 2. And we're going, remember opposite land, we would think left, but we're going right 3. So first I do my stretch. I always do stretches and compressions first. I'm doubling how high my points go. The point at 0, 0 stays the same. My next point, instead of going up 1, goes up 2. And I go right 8, instead of up 2, up 4. And I double the points to the left as well, how high, well, how low they go. So that will be my vertical stretch, and then I move all these points to the right 3. So my point at 0, 0 goes 1, 2, 3 to the right. This one goes 1, 2, 3 to the right. This point would be off the graph. I'll just put it over there just so we can see where it went. This one's going 1, 2, 3 to the right, and this one's 1, 2, 3 to the right. And one last example. Again, I always recommend parent function first, 0, 0, 1, 1, 8, 2, negative 1, negative 1, negative 8, negative 2. And all of these points are going to move to the left 3 and down 1. So you can just go point by point, left 3, down 1. So I'll start over here with my point on the left and go left 1, 2, 3, down 1. It's off the graph, but I'll graph it just for fun. And then this one goes left 1, 2, 3, down 1. This one left 1, 2, 3, down 1. This one goes 1, 2, 3, down 1. And over here, 1, 2, 3, oops, down 1. And we graph our function, and it looks like that.